Ladies and gentlemen, the YouTube collaboration of the ages. I'm here with my friend Davidsbeenhere. We're here in downtown Miami in Brickell. He's petting my beard. Today, we're not doing a weird and wild video, but we're doing a kind of guide for you guys. My friend David, he's a local here from Miami, and we want to provide you guys with some tips and tricks, kind of a quick survival guide for your visit here to Miami if you're coming to visit. I've been doing a lot of Miami content recently, a lot of South Florida content, and I thought it would be great to use a local, just like me, who's kind of travel savvy in the city, to give you guys as many quick fire tips as we can if you're coming out here to travel in the city. We got ourselves some nice drinks. I got an apple cider, he's got a beer.
We got a strong IPA.
So let's start this video off right.
Oh wow.
And hit you guys with our quick survival tips in Miami for food. You ready?
Ready.
Let's do it. All right, so David, I want you to hit us with some of your recommendations for dishes to try when you're here in Miami.
Wow, so Miami is like the Latin American capital of the world. So here we have a mix of everything from Venezuelan, Peruvian, obviously Cuban, we have Caribbean. So I'll hit you up with the first things. Croquetas, for sure, Cuban coffee. You should go to Versailles on 8th Street. That's probably my go-to. You also get fritas. We're the place that...
El Mago de las Fritas.
Mago de las Fritas. That's basically a Cuban burger with like tiny little French fries on top.
Yeah.
So we have ceviche. Ceviche is a huge thing here now. You can go to a little hole in the wall here on Coral Way. I don't know the names, but there's 100 of them. There's so many places for ceviche. There's obviously Venezuelan food. We have a huge Venezuelan population here, so we have arepas, cachapas, tequeños, super delicious.
And you're Venezuelan yourself,
yeah,
right?
My parents were born in Venezuela, so I grew up with that food. Really good food.
You're getting it from a trusted source right here.
If you want to eat some like Haitian food, go to Little Haiti. There's a few restaurants there.
Chef Creole is a great one.
Chef Creole. There's also Jamaican food.
Things like Jamaican patties, trying some
jerk chicken.
Jerk chicken. Oh yeah. Jerk chicken's amazing.
We also eat a lot of poke bowls here now. For some reason, it's a huge.
We've got a Hawaiian influence in Florida now. It's
we
amazing.
do. And if you don't know what a poke bowl is, it's basically a tuna bowl, right?
It's like sushi in a bowl, pretty much. It's like your raw fish, your vegetables, your seaweed, whatever kind of toppings you want, you throw them in. And that's the beautiful thing about Miami, is that we kind of take this mishmash of influences from all these different countries, all these different islands, all the Latin countries, the Caribbean islands, and we bring it into one place. And then you even have places that start combining the two. So you'll have Venezuelan, Colombian restaurants together. You'll have Cuban, Jamaican restaurants together in one place. And that's a beautiful thing with food. So that's kind of a quick survival tip for you guys. If you come to Miami, open your mouth and just put everything in it. As many things as you can. Shove them all in there. All right, guys. So our next kind of thing, and I'm happy that we brought him because this is a Spanish-speaking person. We're gonna dive into your survival guide for language in Miami, because this is probably the biggest city in the United States where the main language is definitely in no way, shape, or form English. No, it's just not English here.
It's Spanglish here.
It's Spanglish.
I mean, that's the reality of it. You know, people here, it's a big mix because we're such an influx. We have such an influx of Latin America here. Right now, 250 people move to Miami every day, and most of that comes from Latin America, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of places, if you go in Calle Ocho, there's a lot of places that says, hablamos inglés, like we speak English in here, because it's so like predominantly Spanish-speaking communities. So, you know, Spanish is like #1. Then we have obviously English, and then we mix it up with Spanglish. So Spanglish is basically like, hey amigo, give me that. Like, you know, just mixing the language together. And it's weird, but people are doing it. And the reason that happens is because a lot of people speak like really good Spanish and poor English, and they'll do that. Or they speak really good English and poor Spanish, so they do that as well. So, I mean, I'm just telling you the truth. I mean, that's sort of how it is.
Yeah.
And besides that, we have, you know, Italian community here. We have a Turkish community up north. We have Russian community up in Sunny Isles.
Oh yeah.
We have a lot of Israelis as well on 41st Street. And,
you got your Haitian Creole as well that you want to brush up on. It's just worth it if you're visiting here, especially a lot of people come here on cruises and stuff. They'll come here on road trips down here to Miami. Brush up on your Spanish. Brush up a little bit on some French words, some French Haitian Creole if you want to, just so you can be able to throw those words out or understand some things that people are hitting you with when you're here, because you won't even realize that you'll walk into a 7-Eleven, you walk into a gas station, somebody will automatically assume you speak Spanish, not because it's a bad thing, just because that's the way we live down here in Miami.
Exactly.
And so brush up on those languages so you have more of a fun, interactive time when you're here. You can speak to more people, you know, get that real community feel when you're here in Miami.
I'll tell you, my days, I probably speak 60% Spanish on the street. It's like, hola amiga, ¿qué tal? Dame eso, quiero esto. Besito.
This is a traveling cloud over here. We get freaky with it. Also, I'm gonna take a second right now to interject. I wanna make sure to let you guys know to head over to David's channel right now because we actually shot a video before we shot this video where we tasted pizza right here in Miami. I just don't have the energy for more food, so we needed to relax, and we thought we'd do something a little more laid back on my channel. But make sure you guys go check that out. Leave him a comment, tell him the Clat sent you. And besides that, when you come back here, make sure you subscribe and turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of these travel videos because they're coming out in rapid fire on this channel. And with that being said, let's jump into our next topic, which is money, dinero. Let's do it.
Miami's not cheap. That's number one. In terms of like real estate, we're number 4 in the country right now after San Francisco, LA, New York. If you want a beer, like this beer right now costs, I think it was like $11.
Yeah.
So
this cider costs $8.
So it's not cheap, you know. Because the thing is that when I think about, you know, wherever I go, if it's affordable, I go to India, I'm gonna spend how much on lunch? Probably $3 max. For me here in Miami, the minimum I spend on a decent, healthy meal is $15.
$15, yeah. That's the average.
If not, I'm eating a sandwich for 10.
Yeah.
You know? So, and even a smoothie here, a smoothie is like 10 bucks. So I mean, it's not cheap. I'd say always calculate around $15 to $20 per lunch. You know, anything alcoholic wise is $5 to $15.
Yeah.
If you want to have a tequila shot on South Beach, it's $20 in some clubs, which is insane. Some places you can't even get into unless you're paying $300 for a bottle of vodka, which costs 20 bucks, you know what I mean?
And this is coming from locals who live here. You have to keep this in mind. If you're visiting here, if you want a night out, if you want to go party with your friends, you can expect $100 a night.
Oh, minimum.
You can expect minimum $100 a night per person, and that's to go have a really fun time. That being said, you will party like crazy in Miami because this is a city of nightlife. It really is the place to be, but you are going to pay some high prices being the fact that it is one of the most international cities in the United States of America. Keep that in mind. If you're coming to Miami, get yourself a budget so you don't have to skimp out on everything here. You can do Miami on the budget if you kind of base yourself kind of the outskirts of Miami, but if you really want to get that Miami feel, you want to get the feeling of what it's like to live and sprawl in the city, you want to come here with a nice bit of money so you can enjoy yourself. And with that being said, let's jump into our next topic because we're getting close to the end here. This is a really interesting topic, the one that's coming up next, because me and David kind of live on opposite ends of Miami. I live on the north side, he lives more on the south side. And so I'm interested to hear his take on transportation, because when I recommend transportation in the city, I always tell people it's worth renting a car or trying to stick close to the areas which have the metro and kind of the SkyRail. But I'm interested to hear your thoughts on it. How do you think somebody visiting Miami is the best way for them to get around the city?
Uber or Metro Rail. The only problem with the Metro Rail is that it's one line. It's actually 2 lines, but it's one line that goes south and then it separates getting north and I keep going more north. I personally gave up my car about a year ago. I don't have a car. I stay in my neighborhood. So when I do have to like venture out to anywhere else, like today, I took the Metro Rail to get here. It took me 20 minutes, 25 minutes, you know, walking, getting from point A to point B. But if I would have taken a car, it would have took me 45 minutes or more with traffic, and there's so much traffic in the city, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Transportation, I wouldn't take a bus. That is like not reliable.
And they're not very good here in Miami.
Not very good.
Their routes are uncommon and frequent, and they come to very strange destinations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then if you're staying downtown or Brickell area, there's also the Metro Mover, which is a smaller version of the Metro Road, which is a little cart that goes around to certain different points in downtown and Brickell. Brickell is basically south of the Miami River. That's the Brickell Financial District. Personally recommend either staying, obviously in South Beach, a lot of people want to stay by the beach, or you stay in this area, and from here you can go to Wynwood, which is right here. It's a 10-minute Uber ride. You can go halfway with the Metro and then continue with the Uber.
Also, just to touch on that, because Miami is such a unique city, who's clapping? Because Miami is such a unique city, we actually have some other unique ways to get around the cities as well, and the different areas down here in South Florida. One thing that you shouldn't rule out, Miami, South Florida in general, is made up of a lot of islands. So you have things called water taxis and ferries all over the cities here. Whether it's Fort Lauderdale or down south in Miami, there's ways to get around from different islands and areas by using ferries and water taxis. So you want to keep that in mind. They're not the most conventional way to get around, but they definitely are a scenic way to get around, as well as bicycles, longboards, skateboards. If you think about it, Miami is really open air and meant for a lot of activity, and everyone is very sporty out here and athletic. And so don't rule out being a little bit athletic with your transportation as well. All right, guys, and our last subject here after transportation is going to be attractions. What the heck should you do when you come to the city of Miami? These are going to be our top tips. David, let's begin.
Okay. First thing you should do is go to South Point Pier. Go there, it's a boardwalk. beach is beautiful. It's also where a lot of the nightlife is. Great restaurants down there. The next spot, Lincoln Road, the first pedestrian-only street. Lots of restaurants, also great nightlife there. Actually, amazing food there.
And amazing shopping too.
Amazing shopping and amazing people watching. And then you come over the bridge and you got Freedom Tower, which is basically our Ellis Island. That's where all the Cuban immigrants came in the 1960s and 70s. You got Wynwood Walls, that's where all the murals are. Wynwood is basically a warehouse district, which is up and coming now. A lot of buildings getting built there, but it's an amazing place for art. So if you like art, murals and stuff, go there. And it's also really famous for Art Basel, because when we have Art Basel, it's crazy.
Places like Calle Ocho and Little Havana. This is also another sprawling area if you really want to get the feeling for what it's like to be in Miami. And don't rule out even going and doing some more crazy activities that are thought of in Miami, because this place is so water involved and aquatic. Do your parasailing, your jet skiing, your surfing, your stand-up paddleboarding. Head into the Everglades and do some airboat tours. These are all things that people think of when they think of Miami. Eat some frog legs. Yeah.
What else? I mean, you can also rent a boat if you really want to. You can charter a boat. You can go to Key Biscayne. Key Biscayne has a beautiful beach at the very end. It's a public beach as well. That's an island right off of Miami.
And these are some side ideas that I have. They're not specifically to do in Miami, but Miami is kind of a hub to send you out to a lot of these places. Taking short day trips and cruises to the Bahamas are very, very common here, as well as taking little road trips with shuttles to Orlando and back in for a day. It's a very common thing to go to the Disney parks, the Universal theme parks and all that stuff, but that's a whole subject on its own.
That's basically day trips, but we are the cruise ship capital of the world.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we have every single cruise line. I mean, major cruise line comes out of here, Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, etc., Carnival. And then, yeah, I think that's a lot. I mean, I can give you forever. We can make a list on nightlife.
We can talk about this all day.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. But overall, Miami really is such an amazing central hub here in the United States. We also have some of the biggest airports too, like Miami International and Fort Lauderdale, where you can fly pretty much anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind and come visit Miami, because you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I hope that was a good little survival guide for you guys.
Bienvenido a
Miami.
Welcome to the city where the heat is on.
I'm going to Miami.
Hey, Will Smith, hit us up. We want to collaborate.
All right, guys, that has been me. That has been David. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I want to make sure that you guys head over to David's channel, check out the video that we made together, subscribe to this man, because he's amazing. He's so much fun to hang out with, and there'll be some more content coming from the two of us soon. Also, if you're new here, subscribe, turn on that notification button. Why not? Come on down. Join the family. We're in Miami. Cheers. Also, comment down below some suggestions that you guys have for Miami if you have any. Make sure you guys leave us a like on this video, and I think we'll see you in the next one.
For sure.
All right. Later, class. I love you a long time. I want you to slap him out. Give him a little. Yeah. You can hit the lens.